Hey, what is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Clubhouse. It's, of course, me, the guy that everyone loves to hate, your boy, the Quicker Commish. Back at it again to chop it up with you guys, talk about what happened yesterday. First week of football is just about done and over with. We do have the Monday Night Football game going on right now. So I'm sure some of us have some players that we either need to score or we don't need to score. So depending on how much you're either winning by or down by or losing by or whatnot. So what are we going to talk about tonight? Tonight, we are just going to go over the major injuries that happened this season, get a head start on the either start sit. We're here to answer any of your guys' questions. If you guys want to brag about your team and what your team did, we're here for it. If you guys have suffered injuries and kind of have questions on who do you think you should pick up next, drop your questions in your comment down below, and we'll be more than happy to look them over and give our opinion. So with that all being said, let's go ahead and get into it. Hey, welcome back, guys. Thank you for coming back to the Clubhouse. It's always good to have you guys here to kick it with and chop it up with you guys. Tonight, we're talking fantasy football. Tune in tomorrow night, and we'll talk some Chicago Bears football. Break down what happened with the Bears-Titan game with T-Nick, Foulmouth, JB, and Frank the Tank. Also, tune in. We're going to have two special guests coming on. So one of them is a former Chicago Bear football player, Eric Kramer. So he's going to give us his thoughts on what he saw with Caleb Williams. That was the last guy. Caleb Williams, and break down his first game and, talk about what he liked and what he didn't like and maybe where he needs to improve. So anyways, with that all being said, how did you guys do week one? Did you guys win? Are you guys winning? Do you guys need someone like Debo to have a big game? How many of you were affected with the CMC injury and him not playing tonight? I know that was one of my opponent's guys, and that will definitely help me out to make sure that I'll get a victory this week. So, but let me go ahead and bring in my other guest that's joining me tonight. You guys have seen him here before. Please welcome him back to the Clubhouse, a very familiar face. Our man, the Sandman. Hey, what's going on?
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you doing?
Doing great. My team's up like 198 points to like 140. So, Garrett Wilson tonight is just going to add more insult to injury when I break 200 on him. So, Diva is going to be like, packing sand.
He's used to being towards the bottom of the pile, so he's going to start off this season at the same spot, apparently.
Yep. Him and his Hershey squirts, and my overall things did good. The Vikings did great. You don't know the difference between Caleb Williams and Justin Fields, so Chicago's not missing anything. Don't make that mistake tomorrow night.
Yeah, no kidding. That's probably why I'm not on the main show. So, no, I mean, it was pretty brutal. It definitely was not. It was not the showing that Chicago Bears fans were hoping for. They were at least hoping that the kid would break over, get 100 yards passing and stuff. So, it was very. There were some similarities between how Justin Fields' first start was. Luckily, Caleb didn't turn the ball over at all. The defense definitely bailed his ass out. If you were one of those guys that had the Chicago Bears defense on your team, that was probably the pick of the week, because I believe their defense was the highest scoring defense. Doesn't matter like pretty much what your format was. That block punt that was returned for a field goal. You had a pick six. And then a couple of sacks and interceptions on top of that.
Yeah.
So I think the Vikings
Chicago's defense Chicago's defense got more offensive yards than the offense.
Yeah, it could have been. It could have been. So,
it was close, right? Hey, it's a team game.
For sure.
As a Minnesota fan and you as a Chicago Bears fan, I mean, we have seen our teams lose to some ridiculousness, and so to win due to Levi's throwing the ball over the shoulder type bullshit that was, for a pick six. I mean, hey, take the W when you can get it, right?
Yeah, 1,000%. It doesn't matter how ugly that win is. I'm still going to take that win. So
nobody's gonna if you guys are in the playoff hunt or whatever. Nobody's like, oh man, you guys would never even be here if it wasn't for week one. I mean, shit, nobody's gonna remember that. So,
well, this was, like I said, that was definitely one of the games on their schedule that was winnable when you look them all over and stuff. So I'm sure they looked at the same thing at their schedule. They looked at us and like, hey, that's a beatable team. So on both sides, it was just one of those where no, it wasn't like they were going against the 49ers here, right? So where you're are the Kansas City, where they have a high-powered offense or anything. So
yeah,
it does look like you might win the weekly high scorer in one of our leagues as well. You might break 200 fantasy points there. So
yeah, nobody's gonna touch me. You just put that money in my envelope.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and I'll go ahead and deposit it into your file there. So, and you'll get it at the end of the year. So,
hey, that's all it counts. Actually,
so
it doesn't even matter. I just don't want to come in last place.
Yeah, in that particular league, you definitely don't want to be in last place.
Yeah.
So
no pink jersey here.
Yeah, if you guys have is there any punishments in your guys' league? I know in our league here, if you're the worst team, you get the boot out of the league, and then when you come back, you get the chance to redeem yourself. But during the draft, you have to wear a pink football jersey to kind of humble yourself a bit. So, but with that all being said, let's go ahead
I saw a thing on there real quick before we started. I saw a guy had to wear like a kilt or a skirt playing golf. I mean, shit like that. That's pretty funny. But
yeah, no, anyway. I'm not trying to say ours is the worst one, but it's something to kind of do as a punishment and whatnot. So
who's your number one player for fantasy this past weekend? Who astounded you the most?
So the one that helped me out the most was probably Alvin Kamara. He had a pretty good game. So he was probably my leading scorer. And then Bijan Robinson, and then Devontae Achane as well. So.
Well, I was asking you who impressed you the most as far as overall for fantasy, but just overall, on a personal note.
Gotcha. Well, I think Joe Mixon had a really good day, first day there with Houston. He had 159 rushing yards and a touchdown. And then I think on the quarterback side, probably the one who's a free agent in a lot of people's leagues is Baker Mayfield as well. So he had a really, really good game as well.
And Barkley had a great
Yes.
Great
Yes.
weekend.
Yes.
Giants
Barkley
are
definitely had a.
definitely wishing they never got rid of him.
Yeah, they definitely
I
realized
mean,
they made
I'm
the
not.
mistake.
I'm not complaining.
Yeah, it doesn't really affect us at all. Keith, we do apologize, man. We'll get you in there next year. So we thought you were in the league or knew it. So sorry about that. Like I said, we'll get you in there next year. So, but Keith, how did your fantasy teams do? Did you any of your guys disappoint, or you guys are you still waiting for the Monday night games to finish there? So let us know. Let's see.
I mean,
Besides, also go ahead.
for me, I had AJ Brown, I had Cooper Cup. They were my 1 and 2 receivers, and then I had Mixon, of course, and Kenneth Walker.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, right there was well over 100 points between the four of them, and then of course you put freaking Lamar Jackson in there. I mean, I was happy with how my team started off, especially how Yahoo Fantasy graded our teams, and Mitch graded my team. Like I think Mitch gave me a D on my team, and to come out week one and bust, 200 points and be the high scorer of the league is it's kind of like one of those, you take that, Mitchy. But anyway.
Right. So now the week one fantasy with the win. So it's like I said, it's always nice to kind of get that off your back. You don't have to worry about that, and then it leads you to go into week two with a bit of a clearer mind and kind of a bit more confidence and stuff. So some of the other guys, obviously, some of the obvious ones that had good days was Josh Allen. Had 232 yards and then 2 passing touchdowns and I think 2 rushing touchdowns as well.
Yeah.
So he was another one that blew up. And then the rookie, the one that had the rookie that had the best day was probably Jaden Daniels, even though they lost.
Whoop, whoop, out of Washington.
Yeah, he's still 2 rushing touchdowns, 184 yards passing, no passing touchdowns, no interceptions, but 70% completion rated. So
Did very good for his first. I mean, he probably was the best rookie starting quarterback out there this last weekend.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So, like I said, Bo Nix was another one that definitely struggled and whatnot. So Bo Nix had a rough day for rookie wise, and then one of the other ones that was a little underwhelming was Patrick Mahomes as well. So he did decent, but only 1 passing touchdown and 1 interception for someone who usually gets drafted like in the first 2-3 rounds and stuff. So.
Well, speaking of quarterbacks, I think we had out of the 32, I think there was only maybe 8 or 9 that broke the 200-yard threshold as far as passing, and I think we only had 2 into the 300s.
Mm-hmm.
If I remember looking at the leaders going across the screen at the bottom, so we didn't have a lot. I mean, I think Sam Darnold was number 8, and he only had 208 passing. So I mean, there was not a lot of 200-yard passers. Were it's kind of crazy to see. And then the passers that I were expecting to be 250 and above, I mean, just none of them were really there.
Right.
I mean, you had Stafford. I think he was the league leader for passing, but I mean,
for passing yards.
Yeah,
with 317.
So it was up there. I mean, Goff had a decent day, but I don't think it was as good as Stafford. I think Goff was like 260 or 257 or something.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, some of the other better ones, like Anthony Richardson, had a big bounce back game. He only had 4 games, last year, so there was a big question mark on him as far as how he'll do or be. So,
well, we talked about him in the offseason, and it's like he plays one great game, and then you're freaking dude. Where'd you go? What happened to you last week? I mean,
Right.
But,
So, and then as far as running backs wise as well, like I said, Joe Mixon, I think, was the top rushing guy there with 159, I believe it was. Then next was J.K. Dobbins. He's a free agent in a lot of leagues as well. So if he's someone that is a free agent in your league and one of these running backs got hurt of yours, then he might be a guy that is worth a pickup here. So,
I definitely grabbed J.K. Dobbins if he was available. I mean, I would have even drafted him if he was available on draft day. But,
yeah. I mean, it was hard to choose kind of, was it going to be him or was it going to be Gus Edwards? It's like, who do you use the draft pick on there at that time?
And I was surprised that Ramondre Stevenson did as well as he did. I mean, I'm just not used to seeing the Patriots pound the ball. I mean, I think he got like 20-some carries or something like that or whatever I saw. But, it's just not something that I'm used to seeing the Patriots do. And I think it really surprised the Bengals, or either that or the Bengals, just their run defense isn't that good. And, I mean, I think he averaged like, what was it, 5 yards a carry or something like that? I mean, he was definitely
Stevenson's.
Yeah,
Stevenson almost had 5 yards. Yeah, averaged 4.8 yards a carry.
Yeah,
had 25 rushes for 125 yards and a rushing touchdown. So,
what a great start outing for. I mean, I didn't think I was like Patriots were like Tennessee. I mean, I was not a team. I was like, oh, you're not going to go anywhere. I mean, like, okay, and then here this dude busts out 120 yards. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, he's definitely one of those guys where you didn't use a high draft pick on him typically, so it's always good when those guys are the ones that end up blowing up that week and stuff. And then same thing with another one that was kind of like that was Tony Pollard. He was another guy that usually got drafted in the 9th round or later, and he ended up having a decent day. 81 or 82 rushing yards and 1 touchdown. He was averaging over 5 yards a carry as well. So he's another one, if he is available free agent wise in your league, that you may need to use a waiver claim on him. So, but Tajay Spears didn't seem like he was going to be much of a threat to take too many carries from him at all. So,
yeah. And I grabbed Williams in the 9th round. I mean, last night he did great, playing with Detroit. And just I started with my flex, and it was a gamble, and it worked out well.
Yeah, it's nice when that works out. You kind of look like a genius there.
Yeah, right? Like I meant it that way.
Yeah. What did you think of Sam Darnold? How did you think him and JJ looked? I mean, I saw they connected for a touchdown and then another long pass. So what are your views on Sam Darnold?
That particular play that you're talking about capped off a 99-yard drive, which something I don't think Minnesota's done since like 2006 or something like that. I mean, Gus Frerotte, I think, was our quarterback when that happened last. So, I mean, it was something. And, I thought Sam Darnold played extremely well. I would say he was a solid B+ quarterback. Didn't force throws. The ball was quick. It was nice to see, considering I haven't seen him play, how well he managed the game. And, but of course we weren't playing from behind. So, and it was just a Giant. So, I mean, next week, when the 49ers come to town, that's okay. Now we're going to have to play with our big boy panties and see, I mean, if we can go toe to toe, even if we lose to even if we lose to San Francisco, if it's just close, then I mean, I would consider that a win, right? I mean, a lot of people consider the Vikings during a rebuild season. So I mean, but overall, I was very happy. I mean, we definitely need to air it out a little bit more. That was we only had 2 deep passes, and we just need to put a little more pressure and air it out a little bit and open up the run game. Aaron Jones did great. He was just a few yards shy of 100. Did really extremely well. I think from what I hear, he's very happy that he's with Minnesota, and hopefully we get 16 more games out of him.
That would be something if you get a full season out of him.
Yeah.
Well, I think, and then real quick before I move on, Jordan Addison, have you being there in Minnesota? What is the word on him from what you've heard? Is it a serious injury or just something that you expect him to bounce back here within a week or two?
I think he's going to be out for a week or two.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I think it's an ankle sprain or a high sprain or something like that. I mean, he could probably play through it, but I think of course, it would be great if it was in timing with his drug addiction on the side of the highway, passed out. But being suspended and hurt at the same time would be great, but that ain't gonna happen. So, but I do think he will miss this week against 49ers, which is unfortunate because we could have really used him against San Fran's defense.
Okay. Well, we have a trade question coming in. Hey guys, would you trade Fields, T. Higgins for Reed and Marvin Harrison Jr. or Rasheed Rice?
So for me,
so I mean, if you're giving up Justin Fields and T. Higgins for Jalen Reed, I'm guessing, and Harrison, Rasheed Rice, I mean, that'd be a win on your side for sure. What do you think?
Well, I'm reading it to make sure. Sorry, I had a peanut in my mouth. If he is getting those players, then fine. But I don't think I would touch Marvin Harrison Jr. right now.
He's sending Reed 100%. All right, so you're getting Reed. So yeah, I would. Now it's okay. So now it's just Marvin Harrison Jr. or Rasheed Rice. I would rather have Rasheed Rice. I mean, Rasheed Rice has definitely looked way more promising. It's a more explosive offense Kansas City is compared to Arizona.
Oh, are we gonna do the flight tomorrow?
So, yeah. But if you can get Jalen Reed as well, he definitely looked like the best option out of the Green Bay package. I know Christian Watson got a touchdown as well. I know, it's like Christian Watson got a touchdown as well, but Jalen Reed looked really fast. Whether he's going to be doing jet sweeps or just catching the ball. Obviously, Jordan Love getting hurt may hamper his value a bit, but I think it's clear to say that he's definitely the number one receiver in Green Bay. So,
and if you're asking Rice over Marvin Harrison Jr., I would take Rice just because who you have throwing him the ball, right? It's unfortunate because I think Marvin Harrison Jr. is a great wide receiver. Mm-hmm. It's just unfortunate that it's Murray that's throwing him the ball.
Yeah, I mean, and he wasn't terrible. Like I said, Murray wasn't god awful, but I mean, it's just one of those things where he's so small, so many damn balls get batted down at the line of scrimmage. So, and then it's going to take some time for him and Marvin Harrison Jr. to get some chemistry built together. The few times that they did try to connect, they were just Murray was just overthrowing them slightly and stuff. So, hopefully, throughout the season, they can kind of work out those kinks and get it figured out and stuff. So, but the main reason why the guy's offering Reed is because of the Jordan Love injury. So Jordan Love's only supposed to be out maybe 3 to 4 weeks, so that's not terrible. But everyone's kind of hitting the dump button on the Green Bay players right there. So you can expect that. Like I said, if Love was going to be out longer, I would be hesitant on that maybe. But like I said, it's only a sprain, no major injury, so he should be okay.
And then you got, I think Willis is the starting quarterback this coming week for Green Bay.
Yeah, they
From what
just
I
traded
hear.
for him right at the end of the preseason. Yeah, so that'll be interesting. So, all right. So, real quick, let's pay some bills real quick, and then when we get back, I will go ahead and play some of the week 1 highlights, or what happened, the highlights on Saturday or Sunday. Some of the best highlights that I saw and stuff. So. Let's pay some bills, and then we'll be right back with some more talk. Like I said, if you guys have any questions, trade scenarios, guys that you should pick up in the free agent waiver wire, whatnot, like I said, drop your questions and comments in the comment section. All right. So we'll be back here in a minute, guys.
Yo, what you trying to be?
King. Yeah, I said it. I'm trying to be king.
You crazy.
I'm real.
King of what?
Okay, bow down, let the trumpet sound. Roll out the red carpet, 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 roll out the red carpet.
All right, guys, thanks for sticking with us. Welcome back to the Clubhouse. So, anyways, any comments, any questions, like I said, please put them in the chat. So we're here to help you guys out any which way we can. So we appreciate any love and support we can get. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into some of the highlights that I saw over the weekend.
5 pressures in that first half to get his first sack of the year. And another Bajorquez punt. Turpin racing up the middle. Cavante Turpin needs one more block. He's got it, and he goes for the touchdown.
Turns 32 this month as he begins year 10 in the NFL. Still a home run hitter. Smith showing the wheels. Smith still going. Jano in.
Mayfield looks left all the way. Single coverage, one-on-one. Oh, what a catch! Mike Evans.
1st and 10. Sets up screen. Madison. Able to hurdle through it all and take it home for the touchdown.
Richardson over the middle. Cut by Ashton Doolin. He's got room to run. Doolin at the 10. 5. Touchdown.
Goes back 1st and 10 to a Tunga by Loa. Armstead the block, and he's going deep. He's caught Hill. Foot race. Driving. That is 6. Oh, he's a good.
It up quickly, and it's been really, really tough for the Giants offensively.
Bunch formation to the right.
Oh, wow! Kinkle, touchdown! Wow!
The 1st and 10, and Mostert the back in the pistol. Ingle to block in the middle. Time for Tua, winding up, going. He's got Waddle. Here he goes. goes. It's a foot race. Cisco gets it. Oh, that does make me happy. Big smile on my face over here.
Good start for your former club. As Darnold airs it out. Jefferson has it. First catch today for Justin Jefferson. Out across midfield into Giants territory.
First round. He's going to take a deep shot down the field. Nico Collins is there. He goes up.
Of your screen. They need 4 in the pocket.
He's got Shaheed. He's into the end zone. On 1st and 10. Pressure's coming. Richardson slips. Now he's airing it out deep down the field for Pierce. Pierce. Touchdown.
Pass with the kickoff. Cardinals will return it. DJ Dallas. DJ Dallas with a burst across the 40. Bass can't take him down. Dallas may go. On the outside. One man to beat. Dives to the goal line.
On 3rd down. Deep drop. Williams is open. Jefferson's got it to the end zone. First and goal from the 1. It is Montgomery. It is a Detroit Lion.
So there you guys go. Those were some of our highlights. There are some of the highlights that I saw, and like I said, thought was good and wanted to share with you guys. Hopefully some of the people that scored were some of your players that scored to help you win your fantasy football league, and not the opposite of, guys you were going against and they were contributing to your loss. So. But somebody who didn't have to worry about a loss this week, like I said, was Sandman there. Did you win both your games?
I need Garrett Wilson to get 4 more points.
To win?
To win the friendlier league.
Okay, the keeper league. Okay.
Yeah. So, considering the Jets are now down 24-7, they'll be throwing the ball a little bit, and hopefully Garrett can get 2-3 catches, 30-40 more yards, and that's easy peasy.
Yep. But I mean, it's definitely doable.
If I lose, it's because I started Chicago's Oduzze instead of Brainford. No shit.
Oh, you're forgetting who's on your bench. That's why he's on your bench.
He is on my bench, and I was going to start him. I'll remember. Anyway, we'll come back to him. But it doesn't matter. I didn't start him anyhow. So.
Yeah, well, next week, like I said, hopefully you don't need him. Hopefully Wilson gets his 4 more catches, or 4 points, which is 2 catches and 20 yards. It's very doable. It's very within range there. So.
Cook.
What? Oh, Cook. Brandon Cook. Oh, and he had a decent day himself. He caught one of the Dak's touchdowns. So.
Yeah, he was gonna. I was contemplating, and I was like, you know what? Let's just go with a rookie and let him see it light it up week 1, and he did about well as Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah, there was a lot of disappointing players that just came out flat. Week 1 came out a little rusty. I think it's safe to say we can point as a whole group in general. The tight end position, I think, definitely disappointed like almost everybody.
Unless you had Likely.
Yeah, which not too many people did. It was very unlikely that he was on your team. I think he was only rostered on about 20%, maybe 30% of teams.
Not anymore.
Yeah, well, he's going to definitely be one of those hot commodities. 111 receiving yards with 9 catches and a touchdown, almost 2 touchdowns. And throwing another catch onto that. If he would have clipped his toenails, he just would have been in and get that second touchdown. So,
or if he had a size 10 or 11 instead of a 12 or 13, he would have been good.
Yeah, for sure. He definitely would have been good. Chef, thanks for tuning in. Definitely a slow week for the offense.
Mason, the guy that's playing right now for CMC, He's running really hard. He's almost at 90 yards and a touchdown. So
Really?
yeah, he's been crushing it. He's averaging like 6.5, 7 yards a carry.
And he's definitely another one of those guys where he's going to be a hot commodity come Tuesday or Wednesday, whenever your guys' free agent wire or waiver wire options go into effect. Especially if you guys had someone like CMC and you didn't already get him as a handcuff, you're definitely going to be doing that now. So
shoot, I'm going to put in for it.
Yeah, no, I mean, if you have one of the top waiver wire picks this week,
which I won't, but that's not the point.
Well, yeah, you always just apply and try because you never know who's paying
That's
attention
right.
and who's not. So,
well, if they're paying attention to the show, they're going to know.
Yeah, exactly. So we also want to thank all of our sponsors here that support us here. We have one of our newer sponsors, especially for this show, Fantasy Jocks. Your boy, the Quicker Commish, this is where he goes whenever he needs to get any of his fantasy football stuff, whether it be fantasy football rings, a fantasy football championship belt, draft boards, any gear, paraphernalia and whatnot, any gear, any flags, any rings, like I said, anything, even losers t-shirts to kind of as punishments for your guys' league mates. Check out Fantasy Jocks. We do appreciate you guys supporting us. So, along with all our other sports sponsors, Moore's Beer, Vision, In the Zone, Hughes Nightclub. So,
yeah, well, you need to put up our picture of our draft board from Friday night, and so people can see that big flag that you got on Fantasy Jocks, because that was legit.
Yeah. One of the boards that I got was, like I said, different size boards. Any size that kind of fits you. If you have a 16-man league or 10 or 12, whatnot, they have any kind of draft board to kind of fit you, your needs. And the word is from my league mates is they want to go with the bigger board, so to make sure that they can see the names there for all the older folks in the back. So, but Chef, defense special teams showed up, especially depending on how your point system goes for defense and special teams. I agree. One of those touchdowns there was from the Arizona. We had a first kickoff return for a touchdown there with the Arizona and the Bills with the new kickoff rule. We got to see one go all the way back. So that was pretty cool. So if you had Arizona's defense or special teams, that certainly helped you out. So,
well, I think there was only 4 or 5 defensive touchdowns or special teams combinations of.
Yeah.
I think 2 from Chicago, 1 from Minnesota, 1 from Dallas, and 1 from Arizona.
Yes.
I think right.
And then speaking of 5, I'm not sure about all the other ones. I know the Chicago didn't have a. They didn't have no. I think it was just Arizona.
Well, you guys had the pick 6.
Yes, we had a pick 6.
I mean, just defense and special teams together. Right? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. We had a block punt and whatnot, so that would count. But as far as just kick returns, I think it was just Arizona actually.
Correct. But didn't Dallas have a punt return? Didn't they do a punt return?
Dallas did have a punt return. That is correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, when I look at the tight ends, though, there was only 5 touchdowns scored amongst all the tight ends. Likely got a touchdown. Foster from the tight end from the Saints got a touchdown. You got Kyle Pitts. You got the other tight end for the Saints, Juwan Johnson, and then you got the tight end from Tennessee. Is it Chiga or Chig? Chig.
Did you say Pitts too? Did you add him? I didn't hear you say that.
Yeah, Pitts was one of the 5 guys, tight ends, that actually scored a touchdown. So other than that, everybody else in the tight end department was a major disappointment. So I know I had Kelsey. He only got me 6 fantasy points. Kittles, I know Kittles isn't really doing too much. He just dropped a pass right now. So
Well, Rodgers just threw a touch interception, so that's why San Francisco's back out on the field.
Yes. I'm okay with that.
Well,
So.
I wouldn't say it was his fault. It was good defense. They hit the guy. They hit Garrett Wilson as he was catching it and got bobbled back up in the air. But
what do you think of what Chef's saying? More league commissioners should toggle more with defense and special teams, point system, just to make it more important to pick a good one. Are you one of those guys that doesn't like too many points being scored on defense, special team position?
Well, I don't think defense should get as many points as a quarterback, but I mean, if they are, then we should start doing, more tackles for loss, et cetera, right? Because but I mean, a lot of the
as
leagues
far as
that
like
people
minusing points for quarterback,
yep.
Well, but then that'll even take more points
for
away from you.
defense. I just
Gotcha.
people just in leagues, right? It's just defense and whole. I mean, you get some leagues where you got to pick your one defensive player or whatever, but for the most part, I think a lot of people just like, I just picked the whole defensive team and that's good. Yeah. So
right. I mean, have you played in leagues like that before, where you're actually drafting defensive players instead of a whole just defensive unit?
I have done defensive where you drafted 3 defensive people.
Mm-hmm.
I did not like it very much because it was I just didn't have time to do the research every week to see if I wanted to add or drop or whoever. I mean, it's
gotcha.
I mean, you got points for tackles for loss, interceptions, fumble recoveries. I mean, it helped on the defensive side, but it's still,
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, going into next week, was there anybody that didn't perform, or is there anybody on your team that you were slightly concerned about that maybe you didn't actually start, but just was on your team, on your bench? Is everyone
Andrews.
performing so far the way that you were hoping for or wanted?
No, Andrews, my tight end. I'm extremely worried about his 1 point.
Gotcha. Is that someone? So it's likely someone, like I said, you would gonna try and actually get, and then.
Well, I picked up Cole Commish just to see, because there was a question on Andrews whether he was going to play or not, and of course it didn't matter because Commish didn't do any better than Andrews. So both of those two guys, I mean, like, the fact that I used a 4th round pick on Andrews, that's, and the fact that he only comes out with a 1 point goose egg or a 1 pointer is, that's a little nerve wracking. But it was only week 1, so. I'll start him again next week, and we'll see how it goes. And then, of course, I am a little worried about Kenneth Walker. He could be out. I don't know what his injury status was, but he's injured, and I don't know how bad. So.
Yeah, I think the results are still out on him as far as trying to get. They'll probably get more word on him tomorrow. I think some of the another key injury to worry about, and people are going to be kind of hitting the waiver wire, is for Puka Nacua owners. I think guys that have Cooper Kupp are loving it and kind of being like, yes, that means even more targets for Cooper Kupp. He looked great yesterday. I think he had like over 10 catches and over 100 yards as well. So
he looked a little tired at the end of the game. 14 catches, 110 yards or whatever it was. I mean, he was a little tired at the end of the game, I think. I mean, I don't think he played all preseason, so.
Correct. He did not. So let's see. The other guys that did well as well as Cheetah had his typical game, 130 yards passing and then 7 catches and a touchdown. And then Mike Evans had another good game. He had 5 catches for 61 yards and 2 touchdowns. So the receivers definitely were the ones that were firing on all cylinders this week. And
what do you think about Diggs?
And then Diggs, I mean, So far,
I
he
know he
looked
was
good.
in the end zone twice.
Say that again?
I know he got in the end zone twice.
Yes, he did. He had 2 catches, 2 touchdown catches as well. So Xavier Worthy was another rookie receiver that had a really good game as well. So, but I'm not sure. It'll be interesting to see if he's going to be able to do that all season with Kansas City. There's a lot of mouths to feed in Kansas City. So, but he's definitely going to be one of those good gadget players.
Yep.
So, let's see. Seth says Puka was rated top 10 by a lot of fantasy haters when he should have been rated lower because the healthy cup is going to get a lot of targets. Yeah, well, that definitely showed. I mean, definitely showed. So, welcome to the show. We're just talking about how our fantasy teams did. How did your guys' fantasy teams do? Did any players get injured of yours? And kind of talking about what players you're thinking about getting free agent wise, or if there's any trade options already coming in. I know it's only week 1, but I know I've already gotten about 5 trade offers. So
really, nobody offers me any trades. That's usually because they do something stupid. It's like a 1 for 3 of like, hey, we'll give you this guy I just picked up off of waiver wires, and this guy I picked up off of waiver wires, and this guy that's been on my bench for your number 1 WR. Like I'm not going to give you my AJ Brown. I mean, come on. I think Terry thinks I smoke crack or something. Dude, it's 3 for 1.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
No, well, so you're telling me this is a Terry
crack,
right
don't
here?
You smoke crack, don't you?
Yep. That's perfect.
No, I mean, some of the things you guys need to remember are I hope maybe some people don't think about when they do these trades where they send you, okay, I'm going to give you 3 players for your 1 player, is there's usually roster limits. So, I mean, if you're sending over 3 players, that are mid, it's really a 3 for 3 because that other guy's going to have to cut 2 guys from his bench to make room for the 2 players that he's trading for. So, I mean, at the end of the day, if those 2 players that you're giving him aren't better than guys that he already has stashed on his bench, then it kind of doesn't make too much sense to go ahead and make that trade. At best, you could maybe do a 2 for 1, but trying doing anything more like a 3 for 1 or a 4 for 1 just doesn't quite work out.
Yeah, if you got a legit number 1, whether it's running back or wide receiver, and somebody's going to give you a weak number 1 and like a medium or strong number 2, then those are ones to consider, especially if you're hurting in the other arena. But I hate giving up strong number 1s. You got to give me something really good that I need, or something that I have access in to where, it's, hey, we're looking for week 13, week 14 for the benefits, not immediately, But what was this question? J.K. Dobbins.
He went off after years of essentially 0 production. Yeah, he did. J.K. Dobbins, that was definitely his big breakout moment there. So you could tell he was one of those guys that was tired because he broke off and he was in the clear. But then they caught up to him. He just ran out of gas like at the 5 or 10-yard line. That
7-yard line.
Yeah. So it's one of those where maybe later on in the season where he's kind of a bit more in football shape, I guess you would say. Not to say that these guys are not in shape, but just like I said, he clearly got winded there at the end. So,
and you look at Alexander Madison. Look at that. He got like first time a touchdown in like 2 years or something.
Yeah, he was another one of those guys in the highlights there. So
I know
some of those guys that scored touchdowns, they were on absolutely nobody's team and helped absolutely nobody. But they're going to be the guys that you're going to probably pick up in free agent wise and stuff like that, or you have to use free agent money if that's the type of league that you're in as well. So, but so we're almost coming down to the end of the show here. was there any last questions coming in from anybody that's still watching, or is there any last word of advice that you would want to give these people as far as going into next week? What matchups you maybe like?
Not so much matchups. I haven't really looked out into week 2, but I would say my 2 players to pick up might be, of course, Likely for the tight end, and the guy for Denver, Devon Bell or Ville or whatever. He had a great, quiet night. I think he had like 8 or 9 receptions. So that would be another guy that I don't think it was like, here it is, 8 receptions for 39 yards. So, I mean, not like, they're the 5-yard ones, but you know what I mean? If you're in a PPR and you need a guy to fill in your flex, and that's a good guy to have.
Yeah, definitely agree. Let's see. I would say to people, try not to panic on guys like Drake London. I know he didn't have a great game. I know this was supposed to be the year where it was different because, hey, he's got Kirk Cousins, but of course Kirk Cousins looked rusty. He had no preseason action, so it's to be expected for him to look like that, to be a little sluggish coming out the gate. Try not to panic on guys like him, Marvin Harrison Jr. He's a rookie as well, so just if someone's looking to try and dump him early, maybe that's someone who you can trade for not much, for pennies on the dollar, if someone's just looking to get rid of him. So, but if you're one of those guys, I would give it a couple more weeks. And then Tank Dell was a little disappointing as well, but there's a lot of mouths to feed. It just wasn't his week this week. So,
yeah, I think a lot of people were a lot of hype on Tank Dell, and I think Diggs got a lot of the attention.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, that is something to think about. So something to think about for sure. With Diggs being there, I know Tank Dell was one of the main guys there last year, but he's obviously going to have to take somewhat of a backseat this year. So, and then that's a good one, Chef. Alec Pierce, wide receiver from the Colts. He had a long touchdown catch. He looked pretty solid as well. So, and then Chef said.
The comment before that was talking about Rodgers. His accuracy is downfield is still unbelievable. Yeah, he just threw like a 50-yard dime right into the end zone. He sees that free play and, so Lazard got a 36-yard touchdown or whatever it was.
Yeah. So Rodgers still has the accuracy. He's showing you still has the accuracy. So, like I said, they just got to work out the kinks over there and with the Jets as well. So it's week 1. People are a little rusty. So by week 4, if it's still looking like this, then it's really kind of start to hit the panic button. So Chef said 60% of the trade offers suck in fantasy because people are used to watching shows where they see lots of one-sided trades.
Definitely
Trades should be a win-win for both teams. I agree. I 1,000% agree, but sometimes it's a little hard to kind of figure out what that happy balance is. So whenever I do a trade, I'm not looking to completely rob the person just because it cuts down.
That's why you're the crooked commish.
Trade with you next year or after, if they think that every time they trade with you that you're screwing them over. So
you're the crooked commish. Of course, trades are going to benefit you.
It's just a coincidence that works out.
Right.
All right. Well, with that being said, guys, we are going to go ahead and bounce out of here. If you're watching this show later on, drop any of your questions in the comment section. I check the comments, and I'll be more than happy to give you my opinion and give you my 2 cents as well. We'd like to thank Chef for tuning in, and anybody else that dropped a comment as well.
And next week I plan on joining from Dallas, Texas. We'll see if I can get some of those Dallas fans, ask them what they think about their team and how high and mighty they are right now. So we'll get a little inside report out of the locals in Dallas, Texas next week.
Ask them how much they think Micah Parsons is going to cost. Since Dak got paid, and now CeeDee Lamb got paid, I wonder if there's any more money left in those pockets there.
So I guess we didn't talk about that. I mean, I think $240 million, $230 guaranteed, for a guy that's only won one playoff game in his entire time with your team, with your organization, I think is a bit much. I mean, we were kind of talking like incentive contracts the other night, you and I, and I don't think Dak is worth that money. I mean,
it's just where do you go if
Jerry
you don't
Jones is smoking crack? Shit, we thought Deshaun Watson shit was bad. I mean, this is a different level right now.
Don't do drugs. If you're doing it, stop it. Get some help.
Get some help,
Deshaun
Jerry.
Watson,
Get some help.
His dad passed away, or his dad's ill or whatever. So hopefully, he gets past that and he can have a good weekend, week 2 up there in Cleveland. But,
okay, I didn't hear about that. Sorry to hear about that. That's crazy.
Yeah,
so that's never good.
That was his excuse. So,
well, I mean that.
Not everybody can be Brett Favre, and play for their dad and come out, score a shit ton of touchdowns and a shit ton of yardage, and
Right.
But,
Yeah, not everybody has that gene in them. So
that's right.
So, all right. Well, with that being said, guys, like I said, thank you everyone for tuning in with us. We'd like to thank all our sponsors as well. Fantasy Jocks, like I said, we really appreciate you guys sponsoring us. And then I'll have something to show off from them on the next show. So please hit the like and subscribe button. Sandman, thank you for joining me and chopping it up with me. I really do appreciate it.
Yep. Go Vikes.
Go Vikes. Oh, man, don't.
Brother,
I mean, how many times am I going to get to say that this year, right? I mean, come on.
Yeah, no, I mean, I guess take your shots when you get them. So, but with that being said, like I said, thank you guys, everyone, for tuning in. Join in tomorrow for Chicago Bears talk with Foulmouth and Frank the Tank, T. Nick, and JB. Like I said, we'll have our special guest, Eric Kramer, on there, and then another special guest on there as well. So, like I said, guys, hit the like button, subscribe, and if you can't be good, at least be good at it.
You got to decide whether you're a wolf or a sheep.
This has been a Chicago Clubhouse Network production.
And now it's all over.